Looks like a motorbike. Oh, it's a scooter. Scooter. Alright, so today we're going to be putting on the rear brake cable. Basically underneath here, we've got a little bit here that the brake cable can sit into. Obviously just rests against the lever here. I'm not sure, there should be something else to hold the brake against as it comes through here, but I'm not sure what that is. And then it obviously comes to the lever up the front, and we've got to put a spring on here as well. So we'll get that underway. Problem is, I've got this guy here. I feel like it's supposed to slot into this bracket here, but it sort of feels like a weird angle down there. It doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me at the moment. So the next thing we're going to do is the clutch cable. The clutch cable is so tight, like it barely wants to move, so we're going to try and squirt some WD down it. The cable's not in the best of nick. Really tough, eh? Still a bit hard to get going. Doesn't really move too much though, so whack it on as is and then change it further down the line because it's just in terrible nick. I've got to look for a path for the handle. Alright, so I can't continue with the clutch cable. I went to go look here and I'm missing a piece here. So I'm missing this little brown bit here, which basically slides in and allows the cable to get seated in there. I only had one of those, already done the brake, but I'm missing one for the clutch. It's annoying that I can't do that right now, but that's okay. What we can do in the meantime, however, is start doing the instrument panel, which is this guy here. It'll basically slip into here. There's a little tube or hole down here for the throttle cable to come through. We'll probably be going into that bit a few times because this bit here has got the switches on it, so obviously there's going to be electronics going in here, so we might need to take this off again further down the line. We'll take the handlebar off, a couple of nuts here and this bolt, and then we'll slip this on. This guy is simply quite easily fall over all of this. We need a bit of straightening up, obviously. Alright, I've had another think about this. Put a block under here just to lift this panel up off the frame a little bit, because this bit here was hitting the shock there, so I'll move that up to try and get some clearance there. It also puts this in a better spot to get this guy on. So what I'm going to do is, instead of bolting down the bottom first, I will chuck that on, feed the speedo cable down through the tube, and then when I've got all that bolted on, I'll be able to figure out where the bottom bit sits. And bear in mind that I am missing a panel in the middle there, and that probably would space this up a little bit, but probably not a great deal. So you can see that sort of fits on there a lot better. Actually sits in the right spot. Nothing's rubbing, which is good. We've still got that gap there. We've still got a very small gap in the panels here. We're getting there. So what's next, you ask? What's next? We want to know what's next. Well, there's a couple things we can do next. We can get the cabling, the wiring, start sorting that out. Because obviously we've only got it for the starting, the coils. So we can run our cable through here and up the column here. I probably want to get this floor area sorted out to figure out where that actually sits, because that'll affect the adjustment for both the brake and the gear linkage. And then I've got a few side panels and I've got the big valances to go on the rear there. Alright guys, we've got some progress today, or at least progress we're going to make. I've got some new cycle thread bolts, which I'm very excited about. Is it sad when you're excited about bolts? I don't know. But anyway, I've got new cycle thread bolts for all the underneath down here, so I can put in these guys. Which means that I can then put on the kickstart and also the center stand under there as well. The kickstart is got surface rust on it. I want to try and clean that off. I think this is cast iron, but I don't know. It used to be chromed, so I'm probably just going to put this in some evapor rust, see what that looks like in a couple days time. Try and chrome paint it. So I've got a container here that's actually fits it really well, so I'm going to stick that in there. Those are the keen eye will notice that I've improved my setup here. So I've got this jacked up off the ground now. I decided I'd had enough of working on the ground and decided a foot off the ground is better? I don't know. It's not quite hoist, but you know, I'm quite happy with that. I'm still trying to figure out how about this all sits in there, because the dimensions here just aren't quite right. It's almost there, but just not quite. I wanted to get the speedo cable in. I've got it here. It's plugged into this end. That's goes in on the bottom here. So under here, we've got, that's the brake. We've got brake cable. And then I think, it's going to be hard to show you, but right back where the brake cable is, I can feel there's a hole for the speedo cable in there. I don't know if you guys will be able to see it or if I can make the lighting any better, but there's a speedo cable in there. It'll basically run down from there underneath, along here somehow, and just tie into there. I don't want to get underneath the bike too much because chairs aren't the most stable platform I've ever seen, so this gives us a bit more room so we get in there. Oh yeah, I see, there's no, well there is actually a little tiny bit of thread. Yeah, I think the thread there is just broken. It's just sheared off. I don't know what we're going to do with that. So obviously this is sheared out at one point, which is not ideal. So that's interesting. That's not what I wanted to find out. If you look in there, you can see where the thread is supposed to be, but it's obviously been snapped off. So that's a shame. Alright, the one thing I know we can do is put on the center stand, so we'll chuck the center stand on. That should be nice and easy to do. We've got these two U-joins. This sits in there, quite obviously, and then we've got a spring that comes onto this far side and pulls it forward a bit. And we do have the cycle thread bolts. They are cycle thread. I actually got mine from a good British motorcycle shop in New Zealand. They go by the name of British Spares. They're located in Nelson. They're really large bolts heads on them, but that's okay. So we've just got our standard lithium grease here, and we'll just apply that probably to the insides of here will be the easiest thing. Get this guy up there. Okay, let's get the others in. I feel like it is. If we can find another spring. That feels about right. That's the spring. So it just sits there. Alright, well it's actually quite late now. So we'll call that a day and catch you guys next time.